Good morning, students. Today, in our first lecture of semester 4th, we are going to discuss the syllabus of this semester. Dear friends, in the previous semester, we have discussed, studied, and gone through the texts or books or syllabus which covers the mock it like a rep of the law, and we have also studied in detail the essays of Francis Bacon. Dear students, as you know that the poetry and its form in general and epic and mock epic in particular we have studied in the previous semester, paper number 5. And we have also discussed the philosophy of Francis Bacon as reflected through his essays, which is life philosophy, experiential one and useful for one to live in the society. Now, in this semester, we are going to study in detail the another forms of literature or genres of literature. They are novel and tragedy. We have for this semester and for this paper number 7, we have the two texts. One is by William Shakespeare, the well-known dramatist, who has written near about 38 plays and also 154 sonnets. The sonnet section you have studied in BA first year and BA first year reading literature. And now Shakespeare has written so many plays which are categorized as tragedies and comedies, and some are known as tragic comedies and historical plays. So tragedy, comedy, tragic comic and history plays. This way Shakespeare's dramas are divided into 4 categories. Besides that, we have also known as Merit for his well-known poetry sections, because he has written also 154 sonnets which discuss the unique word philosophy, the philosophy that is useful for each and everyone to understand the life, its overall pattern. So, my dear friends, the syllabus of this paper, which is very short like the first one, and this is very useful for us to study in detail the each and every pattern. And for this section we have first unit, that is the background study. We have the first unit, that is the background study. This background study includes, we have Shakespearean tragedy, Shakespearean tragedy, its characteristics and plot. Its characteristics and plot. Then we have the another section is features of Restoration literatures. Features of restoration literature. This is the one unit that highlights the background of the tragedy Julius Caesar, and the another one, restoration novel Robinson Crusoe by Nagnath Totawad. So this section of background study, which is unit 1, highlights the detailed study of the historical background of Shakespeare's tragedies, its characteristics and the nature of its plot. And then we have the features of restoration literature, which highlights the literatures of the restoration time in general and the novel of Daniel Defoe in particular. Then we have unit 2, which comments on or which is on William Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. This is one well-known play, and the third one, Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. This is the short syllabus for your paper number 7 of semester 4th. Dear students, so this is Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, and features of restoration present. When we go through in detail all the syllabus, but one thing you have to remember that this paper number 7, covers the entire period from 1550 to 1750, means the total period of 100 years. So, how many poetries, novels, plays, prose sections published, written by the well-known writers and published during that period, that is you have to study, because most of the time what happens, many students only go through the text which is given to them for the study in the form of syllabus. But my sincere request you to go through the each and every happenings during that period, because this is the most important, widely known and asked for various exams. This is the very important phase period in the history of British literature, because in this particular period the well-known poets like Chaucer, well-known kings, queens like Queen like Elizabeth, who was very well-known, famous, and the period of that time is also known as the Elizabethan period, because she has done a lot of contribution to that period. So, my dear students, so you have to just go through the entire literary work published during that period. Maybe you will get the books like History of English Literature by Munra, History of English Literature by David H.S., History of English Literature by William J. Long. So many writers has written the history of English literature. And if you don't have any books, then you can also go through the Google or internet. You will find so many references, writers, their books, their themes, the characteristics, the salient features of their writing on the Google also. So this background study which we are going to study for this period is Shakespearean tragedy. So the Shakespearean tragedy, its characteristics and plot means we have to study each and every Shakespearean tragedy. For example, Shakespeare has written so many tragedies. Among them, the well-known are Hamlet, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, which is one for our syllabus, Othello, King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, Antony and Cleopatra. There are so many tragedies, but well-known are King Lear, Othello, Hamlet, and Macbeth. And still Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet, Troilus Cressida, Antony and Cleopatra, these are also the tragedies. And we have to study each and every tragedy, its characteristics, means what type of technique that Shakespeare has used in his tragedies, so that they are known as, they are acclaimed as worldwide and became famous, and each and every one go through the dialogues which Shakespeare has used, that are known as the well-known soliloquies, which are useful, philosophical, and totally we can use it in routine life. So the Shakespeare's tragedy we study one by one, and we will highlight the characteristics of it along with the detailed plot, means the stories, total meaning. Plot means kathanak, what he want to suggest, what it highlights in general or central idea of that. So the plot means story of the characteristics, and each and every Shakespeare tragedy we will study in detail. Besides that, we have in unit first, that is the features of restoration literature. Because you might have studied that the literatures of British literature is divided into so many phases. I told you earlier that Chaucerian is early 15th century. Then we know in the 16th century begin Elizabethan age. Then the age of, we can say, the Milton age, transition age, Augustan age, and then we have this restoration age, means which begins from 1660 onward. Because why it called restoration? Means at that time, during that time in the history of Britain, for the first time King Charles was restored again on the throne. King Charles हा पुन्हा दुसऱ्या वेळेस राजा झाला, म्हणजे रिस्टोर, री म्हणजे पुन्हा, स्टोर म्हणजे अरूढ होणे, सिंहासनावर तो पुन्हा अरूढ झाला. सो दॅट एज इज हायली influenced and marked by the writers at that time. So this age is highly known. So this restore means restoration, and this age has very much features that are different from the earlier Chaucerian, Elizabethan, or the transition age. Because this age is a different one, because restoration literature covers restoration, comedies, sentimental comedies, comedy of manners, and so on. Because the restoration literature is the unique one, and how it is, we will simply go through the novel by studying the novel Robinson Crusoe, written by well-known novelist Italian and therefore. So, dear students, this is the background section and we will highlight first on the background one, then we will go to the unit second and unit third, because you have studied we are going to study unit second, that is Julius Caesar, because Shakespeare's Hamlet is one, because at ML level we know Hamlet because its theme, plot, characters, play within play, dialogue, solid office, the content is heavy. So it is prescribed for ML level. Hamlet, Macbeth, at PC level you will study, but now you have the Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, this tragedy, this play, this work by Shakespeare centers on the work of Julius Caesar, how he was the great, how great he was, being the emperor of Rome, what he has done for the Rome, that is very well represented, discussed. So this is a tragic play, or this is also known as the history play. So this play we will study in Julius Caesar as a tragedy, Julius Caesar as a history play, and the same time this play also highlights the various characters or gallery of various characters, where simply presents their overall nature, how good they are and how evil they are, that is very well present. Means here good also characters and bad also. And then the unit third we have the Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe is also very much easiest simple novel of journey, novel of experience, and novel of the uniqueness that represent the different pattern that we study in a different way. So it is a novel of experience, novel of philosophy, novel of journey, and novel of isolation. How one man lives more than 20 years on one isolated island, that is very well discussed here in this novel. So this is the simple, short and easy syllabus in front of you. We will go through one by one. Means initially we will study the Shakespearean tragedy in tomorrow's lecture number 2. Then the one by one aspect we will cover. With this brief introduction of the syllabus, I stop here. Thank you very much.